Hello again. It's often claimed by black people in Britain that they are held back by racism and that employers are prejudiced against those with African names, for instance. There was a fuss recently because it was discovered that there was only one chemistry professor in the whole country, and some black people attributed this to racism in the field of chemistry. A couple of years ago, Britain's Royal Air Force came up with a fantastic way of ensuring that race, ethnicity and nationality played no part at all in their recruitment procedure. A computer program used by the Royal Navy was adapted for the RAF and used with various non-verbal tests which could rank all candidates on merit and intellectual ability alone, regardless of race or gender, and then identify those most suitable for recruitment. Here then was the answer to all complaints about racial prejudice or sexism. The artificial intelligence system was not subconsciously prejudiced against somebody called Yetunde Olasanya, ditching her application in favour of one from John Brown. This was what everybody had been waiting for. The RAF in particular was mad keen to get more ethnic minorities and women on board, and this AI system seemed the perfect tool for the job. The system was tested out, and the results of all those non-verbal tests fed in, along with educational qualifications, previous experience and everything else, and the computer then chose the ideal candidates for the jobs. No racism, no sexism, just an objective evaluation of the facts. Needless to say, almost all the people chosen by the machine were white men, with a few Chinese as well. This would play hell with the diversity quotas which the RAF is committed to for getting more black people and women into their Air Force, so it was decided to use some good old-fashioned racism to set things straight. The computer's recommendations were ignored, and somebody went through the candidates by hand, chucking out those relating to white men and replacing them with black people and women. In other words, it was not that they wished to get rid of racism at all, but they wanted the right kind of racism. This led to the RAF's head of recruitment, a female group captain by the way, resigning in protest at what she saw as unlawful discrimination against white people. Some of this came to light the year before last when a Freedom of Information request revealed that black people did very poorly at the non-verbal spatial awareness tests for jobs like gunners, lorry drivers and military police officers, while Chinese applicants did the best. White people were somewhere in the middle. I give a link in the description to this video to details of a leaked internal memo in the RAF which reveals how their IT system was unable to exhibit the kind of racism which senior officers required. That is to say, displaying prejudice against white people and boosting the scores of black people. In it, we learn that the RAF had huge concerns about the scoring matrix, part of a new IT system to rank recruits according to ability. Ranking candidates on ability alone would, it seemed, be problematic for the RAF and have huge implications on how the RAF hits their ethnic minority and female targets. The relevant part of the internal memorandum reads as follows. I still hold the view that moving to a merit-based SIFT using scores achieved from assessments for candidates would be problematic for the RAF, with huge implications on how we do things to achieve our targets. The targets in this case being, of course, getting more ethnic minorities and women into the RAF. This then is the truth about the supposed racism which is preventing black people from getting on in every field from chemistry to flying fighter planes. It is not that applications from black people are rejected by white supremacists and that those with African names are at a disadvantage. That's not how it works at all. The real situation is that whenever colourblind assessments are made of candidates with a mix of men and women, black people and Chinese, the scores and academic achievements usually fall into a gradient, with Chinese people at the top and black people at the bottom, with white people in the middle. When it comes to some non-verbal tests, men usually score higher than women. What this means is that racism is not a significant factor a lot of the time. It's just that white men tend to score higher than black women and so on. We can certainly debate the reasons that this should be so, but that it is so is undeniable. I make no guess as to the cause of this gradient, but it exists. What many employers are doing, just like the RAF, is deciding that it would be good if they had more black people than women, and so ignoring the best candidates who tend to be white or Chinese men and behaving in a racist way to favour black people. This is shocking. Black people are themselves opposed to colour-blind tests for admission, very often, something which I shall make a subject about of another video.